Hello, today is Wednesday, November 29th, 2023. The debate on the future trajectory of the US dollar features in-depth discussions between experts Brent Johnson and Matthew Piepenburg, shedding light on divergent views and potential implications. Johnson's Dollar Milkshake Theory predicts a surge in the US dollar due to global demand and highlights the significance of the US's advantages and inevitable surges. So let's get started. Johnson's Dollar Milkshake Theory predicts a surge in the US dollar due to global demand and highlights the significance of the US's advantages and inevitable surges. Piepenburg, however, expresses concerns about the potential impact of excessive dollar strength on the US economy and addresses the likelihood of Fed interventions to prevent unsustainable levels. The conversation delves into the role of central banks in fighting recessions, the impact on the global economy, potential currency wars, and the significance of a global reset in addressing economic challenges. Investment strategies and asset allocation recommendations, including holding cash, gold ownership, and active management, are emphasized. Key insights from the discussion includes debate on the US dollar. Will it soar or sink from here? In this engaging and thought-provoking video, monetary experts Brent Johnson and Matthew Piepenburg debate the future of the US dollar. Hosted by Taggart, the discussion covers a spectrum of views on the dollar's trajectory, exploring complex financial theories and economic indicators. Chapter 1. Introduction to the debate. The stage is set for an insightful debate between Brent Johnson and Matthew Piepenburg, who bring their expertise in monetary policies to bear on the fate of the US dollar. This introduction primes viewers for a deep dive into the contrasting opinions and analysis that will unfold as the debate progresses. Chapter 2. Brent Johnson's Dollar Milkshake Theory. Brent Johnson lays out his intriguing Dollar Milkshake Theory, which suggests a strong surge in the US dollar's value due to international demand. He underscores the systematic advantages enjoyed by the US and argues that global debt and dollar shortages will drive the currency's strength upward. Chapter 3. Commonalities and Agreements. Despite their differing viewpoints, Johnson and Piepenburg find common ground on certain issues. They concur on the possibility of a sovereign debt crisis, the role of the euro-dollar and petrodollar in sustaining dollar demand, and the influence of the derivatives market on the currency's fate. Chapter 4. Matthew Piepenburg's perspective. Matthew Piepenburg presents a counter-narrative, focusing on the detrimental effects an excessively strong dollar could have on the US economy. He posits that the Federal Reserve might intervene to prevent the dollar from reaching an unsustainable high, potentially through quantitative easing, yield curve controls, or even a currency reset. Chapter 5. Discussion on Fed's role. The debate digs into the Federal Reserve's capacity to influence the dollar's strength. The two experts exchange thoughts on the Fed's possible strategies, such as engaging in quantitative easing, imposing yield curve controls, or orchestrating a global currency reset to maintain economic balance. Chapter 6. Implications of dollar strength. Johnson probes the paradox of why the dollar remains buoyant despite potential Fed actions. He suggests that a weaker dollar might actually serve the Fed's interests better, perpetuating the current financial system and cementing the US's global economic leadership. Chapter 7. Fed's Approach and Monetary Tools. Piepenburg expands on the Federal Reserve's tactical decisions, theorizing that the Fed is positioning itself to better manage an anticipated recession. He highlights the possibility of the Fed employing quantitative easing, yield curve controls, or a currency reset to counterbalance the dollar's strength. Chapter 8. Recession and Policy Responses. The discussion shifts to how a recession might impact the US and what policy tools the Fed might use in response. Johnson and Piepenburg delve into recessionary implications and the Fed's arsenal, including rate adjustments, balance sheet maneuvers, and liquidity provisions. Chapter 9. Fed's Tools and Crisis Management. The conversation continues with a focus on the Fed's crisis management repertoire. Both speakers contemplate the use of extraordinary quantitative easing, yield curve controls, swap lines, or a global currency reset in the face of a strong dollar and potential liquidity crises. Chapter 10. Conclusion and Future Scenarios. The debate concludes with both participants sharing their insights on what the future might hold for the US dollar. They acknowledge the complexity of managing the dollar's strength, potential Fed interventions, and the wider economic and geopolitical consequences of a dominant US currency. Keywords and their definitions include US dollar, the official currency of the United States of America, widely used in global trade and considered a key indicator of the country's economic strength. Dollar Milkshake Theory, a theory proposed by Brent suggesting that the US dollar will strengthen significantly due to global demand, leading to a milkshake of other currencies being drawn into the dollar's strength. Federal Reserve, Fed, the central banking system of the United States responsible for setting monetary policy and regulating the country's financial institutions. Quantitative easing, a monetary policy in which a central bank purchases long-term securities to increase the money supply and encourage lending and investment. Yield curve controls, the manipulation of interest rates at various maturities to influence borrowing costs and economic activity. Global currency, reset, a hypothetical event where the value of various currencies is recalibrated and possibly restructured on a global scale to address economic imbalances. Central banks, financial institutions that oversee a country's monetary policy and regulate its financial system, often responsible for issuing currency and managing interest rates. Monetary policy, the macroeconomic policy laid down by a central bank, involving management of money supply and interest rates to achieve economic objectives. Inflation, the rate at which the general level of prices for goods and services is rising, leading to a decrease in purchasing power. Currency. Wars, situations where countries engage in competitive devaluations of their currencies to gain an advantage in international trade, potentially leading to economic instability. Digital currencies. Virtual or electronic forms of currency, such as cryptocurrencies, often decentralized and based on blockchain technology.